everybody, Cam S here. We have been having a very slow couple of weeks ice fishing. I have been out a few times within the last few weeks or so, and I have been skunked the last 2 times that I've been out. I haven't even had a bite the last 2 sits. So I decided I was going to take a break from that for a little bit to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a while now. I was going to show you my 2 go-to fishing knots. They're the only 2 knots that I ever use, and the one that I kind of use quite a bit more than the other, but they're pretty much the only 2 knots you really need for fishing. So the first knot I really like a lot. Like, you can't pull it apart. The knot can't come untied. The line has to break. The line or the knot has to break for you to lose your lure. When I was using some of the other knots when I was younger, I felt like I either wasn't tying it right or they would eventually come unraveled and I would lose whatever I was fishing with, or I would even lose fish eventually too. So I found this knot. It's super easy to do, and I have not had any issues actually having it come apart or untying, because it is basically tied within itself. So without further ado, let's get into the polymer knot. So just starting off, I'm using a giant lure for display purposes, so it's easier for you to see. I do use this knot for all of my fishing, so it's not just for big deep sea fishing or anything like that. I use it for all my bass rigs and everything like that. So to start off, you put it through and then you make a loop like this and then come right back through the same place that you just came out. So you can kink it first and push it in, but I do not like to do that because it leaves a little bit of a kink in your monoline. I'm not sure if it will do the same thing for braided line or not. So take this back through and get enough that can go over your entire hook. So you go like this and then loop it like you're going to tie a regular knot. Then do not tighten it all the way. Then you put it over your bait and hook. Go all the way through. So now you have a loop on the same side. You pull both ends until they are tight. Make sure you wet down your line first. Then you just tighten them both down until they are snug. I figured I would show you again, since the knot did not really pull together like it normally does with fishing line and with a different color shoelace, so that you can see it a little better. So you push it through, pull it back through the same way that you just pulled it out. Make sure your loop is big enough to fit over the hook or lure. Then you just wrap it around and underneath like you would tie a regular knot. Pull it snug but not completely tight so that you can pull it tighter later. Then put it over the lure or the hook. Then at this point you would lubricate your line and pull both the tag and the main line together until it is completely tight. Then you cut off your tag end and you are all set to go. With regular line, you just put the line through first. Put it back through. Then you take the tag end, then you wrap it. Then you take this, put it back over the hook itself, then pull. At this point you would wet it down. Pull both tag ends. pull them both tight. And then this is what the final knot would look like. And then you just cut that tag end off as close as you can to that hook. I usually leave a little bit, so I usually cut it right about there or so. Just leave a little bit on there just in case it does tighten up a little bit more, but as you can see, it does wrap within itself, so it should not slide out as long as you leave enough of a tag there. Another nice thing about this knot is if you leave this tag long enough, you can set your own perch rig up or put multiple hooks on. So if that's something you like to do, just leave a longer tag on and you can have multiple hooks or put a hook and then a sinker or whatever you like to do for your rig of choice. And the next knot that I use is to tie two pieces of line together, which I don't really use that often because I don't typically use braided line or have to tie a leader onto my line. So this is for those that are using braided line and want to tie a leader of mono, or vice versa if you want to just attach two pieces of line together. And I've seen it called multiple things, so I don't really know what to call it. I've seen it called the uni knot and also the blood knot. So I'm not sure what the technical name for this knot is, but I will just show you how to do it. For this knot, you line up your two lines and then you cross one over the top of the other. Then you take this top line and wrap it underneath as many times as you want. I'm going to do 2 or 3 just for demonstration. Then you're going to find where the two lines initially crossed and pull that tag up and just pinch it there for now. Then you are going to take the other line and cross it over top this time, which is the opposite direction that you went with the other line. Go as many times as you want, and then take it back to where your other tag is and put it through that little hole right there. At this point, you would get your line wet and start to pull all of the tag ends and the line itself, which is a little bit more difficult with shoelaces, but you just pull it all together until they all come together and are tight. Then once you get it all snug like this, you would just take your two tag ends, make sure they are tight, and cut those tags off. I hope this video helped you out. I hope it made it easier to understand, and I hope that it makes your fishing experiences a little bit easier now, and I hope you can do it quicker than the old-fashioned knots that like I used to use. I felt like they took so long to do, and I always just didn't want to retie. I would just keep fishing with something that wasn't getting any bites just because I didn't want to take the time to retie. But this knot is pretty quick to do so that you can retie real quick. So hopefully I helped you out, and I really hope we can either get on the ice very soon and actually get into some fish, or hopefully we can get into some open water fishing soon as well. I know that turkey season is also coming up, so there should hopefully be quite a bit of content here to come. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and as always, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, or if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.